It's all about Russia 2018. Let's get the conversation underway. Hello to you, Benedict.
Hi, Mama B.
Yeah, Benedict is going to
again.
yeah, definitely. Benedict is going to run us through the groups. We're going to do some serious analysis. And Gary Al Smith is here. Good morning to you, Gary.
Good morning, Gary.
Good morning,
Yeah.
How are you, Gary? Fine, thank you.
What, you want me to introduce you?
No, I wanted to introduce Coach Grant.
Yeah.
Coach Grant. De Graft, you've been off the radar for years.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
I've been
totally
wondering
right.
why though, but we'll talk about that.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's get the conversation going. We're going to link up also with Angela Santi. She's a sports journalist in Russia. So we're going to link up via Skype. We want to test the mood in Russia. But let's start with you, Gary. This year's World Cup, well, of course, Ghana is not in, but there are some great African teams in there. Is there hope for Africa?
Well, I mean, as with every competition, yeah, every team goes in there with a lot of hope. And some of the teams there look quite good. But it's not just that. Sometimes you have to look at the groups they are in to measure the amount of hope you have, you know. So Senegal are there, there's Tunisia, there's Egypt, there's Nigeria, you know, and yeah. It's thereabout. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
straightforward. It's not
Okay.
cut, yeah.
All right. So, Coach, how far would we go?
Well, I think hope is all we've got, to tell you honest truth. I think Senegal have the greatest chance. Easy is not the right word to use, but the easier route to the second round. All the others, I think, have got a tough job to do. Nigeria, they're in a tough group. They're going to have to play some. And if what I saw with Nigeria playing in England is anything to go by, they're going to be in serious trouble. They cannot afford to switch on in the second half. Because in the World Cup, if you go switching on in the second half, you'll be about 2 or 3-0 down by the end of the first half. Because the teams this year, the quality, doesn't matter what anybody says about the World Cup, the quality of the tournament is improving all the time. There are no more underdogs. The so-called underdog will beat you if you let your game drop by 2 or 3%. You're in trouble. The African teams, I would say that most will struggle to get to the second round, unless, I hope I'm wrong. You know, there's sometimes in life when you hope you're wrong, because I want the African teams to do well. I will them to do well, but as Gary just said, is not enough. Hope is not enough.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to struggle to get to the second round, most of the teams.
Okay, so Gary, that's the Senegal team arriving in Russia. But Benedict, this is what we're going to do. Take us through the group stages, and then we will get to see properly what countries are within the teams, and then we'll get the analysis.
All right,
going
okay,
there.
especially with the African teams. So
Yeah.
we'll start with Group A, and Group A, there you go. So you have a host nation, Russia, in there with Saudi Arabia, and they will kickstart the competition today. They also have Egypt, Uruguay. So one African team also in there. It's a very tough group, looking at the placement of the teams in there. Then Group B is also there with Portugal. So Portugal in Group B with Spain, Morocco, and then Iran. Another African team also in there, but you know what definitely will happen when you have Portugal and Spain in the same group with you.
Benedict, before you go further, so let's
Look at group, right?
So
let's look at
look
these two groups that you've presented to us, guys.
So Group A?
Yeah, there's Russia, and we know Russia is playing later today, yes.
Yes, in the opening game. And that'll be a 3 p.m. kickoff. We will be looking at them playing Saudi Arabia as well. Saudi Arabia, very interesting team. They've had 4 coaches in the last 3 months. Yeah, 4
That's
coaches.
some record right there.
Yeah, so they've had 4 coaches in the last 3 months. So
It's
the
a
guy who
3
qualified them to the World Cup, he's Dutch. What he was doing was that he was living in Holland but coming to coaching in Saudi Arabia. When they qualified, this arrangement had worked for them throughout the qualifiers. Then the Saudis then said, we don't want you to do that. We want you. And he said, but this is how I've been playing and we have been qualifying and we've won. And they said, we don't want your assistants. They are all Dutch. We want some Saudi people to be there. He said, these are the people I'm comfortable with. This is how I qualified you to the World Cup. So because of that, they didn't agree on a couple of things. And as a result, they didn't extend his contract. They brought another guy in. When he came, 4 days was all he spent on the job. 4.
Wow.
4 days. He spent 4 days on the job.
Wow.
He lost 1-2 friendlies and then they sacked him.
Yeah, okay.
Then they got a third person.
Yeah. Who's of which nationality?
The second person was from Argentina. So they sacked him because Eduardo Bauza. And then they had a third person. Things didn't work out with him. They went back to this guy, the Dutch guy who qualified them. He said, no, you can't, I'm not available for you to be doing, go and come with me. So he did not go back to the job. And then they've got this fourth person who is going to take them to the World Cup. Now, this fourth person, interestingly, is the Chilean national team coach. His own country, Chile, did not qualify for the World Cup because he failed to qualify them. But he is going to be at the World Cup, so imagine that. So it's like Kwesi Appiah didn't qualify for the World Cup, but somebody came to hire Kwesi Appiah for the World Cup. So that's
the same scenario.
So that's about Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
As for the Russians, well...
Is it host and win? Isn't that what we say?
They are bad. They are very bad. Like, they're one of the worst host nations we've seen.
In terms of
how they play, yeah, they are not good
Gary,
at all. Yeah.
I thought my view about the Russians was bad.
This is West.
They are bad.
You killed it.
Yeah, they are not good at all. Coach, you want to say something about them?
Yeah.
No, you're totally right. This is the worst Russian team I've seen in 30, 40 years.
Yeah,
They are well, it's not their fault.
I saw the friendly the last time.
It's not their fault. What it is that originally, when they was all USSR, majority, at least half the Russian team came from Ukraine. Dynamo Kiev always supplied 3-4 players.
Because they were good in Europe.
They were superb. I mean, they were a fantastic team. Each time, Shevchenko, Rebrov, all those guys, you see. Dynamo Kiev supplied USSR with half the team. Now, with the breakup of USSR, half the possibilities are
But
gone.
they have the resources to portray people. They have a very good league.
Yes. That's right. So since then, the whole momentum of the Russian team has gone rock bottom.
So I was following the FIFA rankings as well. Russia was amongst the first 10, and then suddenly they are almost at the bottom.
Yeah. So
What happened?
Imagine being a host nation and being the worst ranked team at the World Cup. I mean, that takes some beating, you know.
Yeah.
So
it also takes kind of the shine of it. But do we likely want to see Russia advance to the next stage?
Yeah, you always want to see the host nation
But there's
do well.
Egypt and Uruguay in the same
So there's two countries
coach.
that will move. So where we are concerned, we might probably want the host nation to move so that the tournament will be nice, and then the African team to go so that the tournament will be nice.
Yeah.
But we also know that Uruguay, as far as concerned, has presented very good teams over the last 2 World Cups or 3 World Cups.
Thank you. Uruguay, they used to be a horrible bunch of people.
Yeah.
You know, Uruguayans have always been technically and tactically superb footballers. But when they qualify superbly, they get to the World Cup and they want to fight. They just kick people. But the last 2 or 3 World Cups, as you rightly said, they decided to play football.
I think the last 2 World Cups.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I'm glad because they're a superb team, always have been, but it's a mentality shift that they needed to make. And at last, I think they made that mentality shift, and I wish them well because they're playing good football.
Okay.
So as we go along, I'll just add some quirky bits that people should look out for.
Sure.
So the Russian coach never smiles. So if you see the coach, if you see the Saudi Arabian coach and you see the Russian, but you don't know who. If you see the guy who doesn't smile, that's
I hear all Russians. It's a cultural thing.
Yes,
They don't
you're not
smile.
supposed to smile because somebody got arrested for smiling.
Yeah.
Because the policeman said that you must be doing something wrong because you're
So
smiling.
that's a Russian coach.
But it's a cultural thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the coach who will not see smiling would definitely
That'll
be
be
the
your
right.
top
Okay.
10.
All
For the
right. Look
Saudis
out for
as
that.
well, look out for, there's 3 guys called Hausani. So there's Omar, there's and 2 other guys. They all have Hausani. They are not related.
And the Saudi team.
In the Saudi team, they are not related. They are all black.
It's like
Now
Smith
here's
in
the
the UK.
story. Here's the story behind them.
Black
all of
Saudi
them,
Arabians?
yes, the Nubians are all over the Middle East, so they are black.
Yeah,
Arabic.
true. You can find them in
You can
Egypt,
find them
Morocco, and the Sahel.
Yeah, but for these guys, they are descendants of Nigerian Hausa people. That's why they are called Hausani.
Oh.
So that's the top tip as well.
Okay.
So when you see them,
In what generation are you now?
second generation.
Second
So that,
generation.
Thank
those
you.
are the Hausa guys. Just
Thank you. We'll look at all
Go
of
to
that.
group 2.
Yeah.
That's
Before we
group
do that, though, let's head to Russia. Let's get a feel of what's happening there. And thankfully, connecting via Skype is Angela Sante. She's a sports journalist. Angie, hello to you. I'm not sure it's morning, but what's the mood in Russia today? It's the day. It's the day of the World Cup.
Yes, it's morning time. It's 11, I believe, right now. I'm just about to head out to the stadium today to have of Russia against Saudi Arabia. The fan fest didn't make it back because yesterday was.
Angela, I think the connection, because we can't hear you clearly, so we've got to work on the sound and reconnect with you. So Angela Sante is a sports journalist in Russia, connecting with us via Skype. We'll work on that sound issue and connect with her back. But let's move to the second group. Benedict has already presented Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran to us. Benedict?
Yes, exactly. So we have Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran in Group B. Another exciting group, especially with Portugal and Spain in that group, with Morocco and Iran have been playing some very nice football. And if you look at the setup of their team, it's a team made up of players almost all playing in the same club in Iran. So it's a very nice group. And with this group, you definitely will take Portugal and Spain to go through.
That is for Portugal. Just like Mourinho said, if Cristiano Ronaldo is on song and is on the team, then it should be tipped. I hope he doesn't have any ankle injury or something of the sort.
The honest truth is, I wouldn't go with that. I've never seen Cristiano Ronaldo have any fantastic performances for Portugal. Please, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, he's an inspiration.
I am not an expert,
Yeah,
but I
that's
agree
it.
with you.
Yeah.
I don't see him,
No, I've never seen him
For his
so-
national team.
For his national team. You know, we know what he
The
does
last
for
time
Real
he
Madrid.
was on the sidelines, but they were able to play very well with us.
Yes, but even when he was on the field, he didn't, like you said, maybe it's inspirational, but football-wise, I've never seen
He's not
him-
exceptional in the
yes,
Portugal
I've never
team.
seen an exceptional performance by Cristiano Ronaldo for Portugal.
But during qualifying, you know, the thing about big players like him is that in the friendlies, and Benedict will bear me out, they look so ordinary without him. It's such it's so bad. Like when he's not in the team, and even if he doesn't touch the ball a lot of times, he doesn't score goals. They seem to have a sort of lift, just like with Egypt as well. Because you ask a lot of people, even Egyptians, about Egypt, and they say we have Mohamed Salah and the rest. You know, and it's like that with Portugal. Like seriously, Cristiano Ronaldo, and when he's on the team, they look energized. A few touches of the ball, he's going to miss a couple of chances and all that. But you need the big players, and as a lot of Ghanaian players will tell you, look, whenever they went into games, and there was Michael Essien, Suleiman Tari, the big players.
Oh, you mean during the colonial days? Back in the day.
Back in the yeah. I'm just making an analogy here. They always said that the opposing team usually would have lost the game by about some 20 or 30%
Already?
even before the ball was kicked.
Wow.
And that's what big players do. They put fear into the others, and so you need them on the field. So yeah.
Does
They
it
won
matter
the
though?
European Cup without him. You see what I'm saying? He was on the side.
No, but that was on the final. So what?
Yeah.
When people say that, I'm like, so what did they do before they got there?
But that's what I'm saying. I watched the whole thing, and even before they got there, I didn't see
Inspiration.
No, honestly.
Okay, let's talk about Spain. Does it matter that at the very last minute, if you like, the federation made that big call to send the manager out? Somebody who's been...
He's the coach, so he would know.
Yeah, so over to you, coach. What does this
What
mean?
happens?
Is it going to reflect on their
Was
performance?
the psychological shake-up?
The psychological shake-up may not be too bad because of the person they've had replace him. He's an under 21, so he knows all the guys. If it was a case where somebody was coming who does not know the players, the way they play, it's a different thing altogether. Two effects. One, people may think, oh, the morale of the team. No, the Spanish are not like that. Those guys are serious professionals. And honestly, if you had them on the pitch without a coach, they will beat 90% of the teams in the World Cup, hands down. Now, what they've done could have two effects. In that one of them is that sometimes when a new coach comes in, players who were on the sidelines and players who are already in the team fight even harder to impress the new coach. And that could raise the performance of the team by 1 or 2%. And if the performance of the Spanish team as they are now is raised by 1 or 2%, watch out the rest.
That's a Friday prospect.
Let's try and see if the sound will be good with Angela this time around. Hello, Angela?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so what's the mood? Let's continue from where we left off.
Yeah, like I was saying, today we have the open game in Moscow. I'm based in Sochi, but on the local here to flog the sunset radio.
Angela, I'm afraid you're still not very audible. It's still hard to hear what you're saying properly. So I'm afraid we have to end the conversation here. Okay, Gary, step in.
Yes, we're talking about Portugal, Spain. As you said, I mean, if Spain, as terrifying as they are already, are able to raise their game by a percentage or two more, then they are going to be absolutely deadly. But imagine being on a team where you knew Roland was a definite starter. Then suddenly a new coach comes in and he says, anybody can start now for me. You're going to raise your game. I'm going to raise my game as well. And that's what he means by it gives everybody a new opportunity to play well. So for me, I'm looking forward to Morocco doing well. I'm tipping them to be one of the African teams, if even not to progress, but to give us some of the best games we'll see.
Okay, we can't talk about Morocco without, talking about their fifth bid, losing the bid to host the 2026 World Cup. Is that, would that reflect in any way? This has nothing to do with what they're doing now.
No,
that's
okay.
politics.
Yeah, as a footballer, they'll just let them get on with that.
Right. So, Benedict, you have some other, the next group you want to look at?
Yes, that's Group C, where we have France, Australia, Peru, and then Denmark. And with a placement, I tip France to maintain that spot. And probably maybe you see...
The others will struggle through.
Yeah, then we'll see what will happen with the others.
France, they're not,
They're not gelling.
It's not they're not gelling. They don't start tournaments well. So if I was anybody, I would want to play France in the
But the
early
thing
games.
is, if you're not starting a tournament well, then this group is the best group to be in. Australia in the group, Peru. I think the other three are just on the same par as far as the player levels and the appetites for the way they approach games are concerned.
Sure.
It's only France that has got the personnel. Of course, they have a history of starting games very slowly, like we've seen in all the tournaments that they won. So,
yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the more open groups that we'll see in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Very open.
Yeah.
And if you're neutral, these are the sorts of groups that you love to watch because Australia and Peru will be a slugfest. Peru, Denmark will be a slugfest. Denmark, Australia will be, like you said, in terms of the player quality, they're on the same level in a sort of way. In descending order, I would say Denmark, Peru, Australia.
Denmark, Peru, Australia.
Yes, in terms of how good they are. Denmark, Peru, Australia.
Okay.
But this is going to give us a lot of open games, and I can't wait. Yeah.
Benedict, let's go through Group D.
All right, so Group D, that's your group, Mamavi. Nigeria is in that
More
group.
Niger.
Yeah. So Nigeria is in there with Argentina, Iceland, and Croatia. This is a very tough group. Iceland doing very well. If you watch their last game with the Black Stars, they have some quality players in, as well as the formation they play. Very, very good. And Argentina, of course, we all know Argentina with Lionel Messi and all the big boys, and Nigeria trying to do something new as well as Croatia. So this is one of the toughest groups we see at this year's World Cup.
Yeah, but Nigeria should be better than, or if not just a little better than Iceland and Croatia. Shouldn't they, Gary?
Well, on paper,
I don't think so.
I don't think so at all.
See, the difficulty Nigeria have is that for me, the team hasn't been together for that long. The Croatians have been playing together for a few years. They know each other inside out. They are a solid team. Nigeria are going to have to play some to get out of this group. This is one of the toughest groups, I feel.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to have to play some. Croatia is going to give them a hard time. So if they beat Croatia, I'll just clap. So well done, Nigeria. It's going to be a tough group for them.
I think it's one of the groups where Nigeria, if they get 4 points, it may be good enough for them. So they have to target
definitely win one.
Where one
match.
One
at least
something. Yeah, one win. But again, they have to meet Argentina again. You know, this is the 5th time they are
They'll
meeting
meet
Argentina.
in the World Cup.
In the
That's
World
not
Cup.
fair.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It's like Ghana and the US. We all tend to meet them often.
Yeah. So should be good. For
But
Nigeria.
Iceland, this is like a historic appearance. Would
Smallest
they?
nation ever to qualify for
Yeah.
the World Cup.
Would they have the? Would this? Can they still continue with the enthusiasm, the excitement? Will they still carry them through?
The
Or just an
euphoria and all
appearance
that.
is fine.
Oh, coach, they've got nothing to lose. You can probably tell. I mean, they are there. So once they are there, they are going to give it 110, and sometimes that's all you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you, Gary. Every team that's there has had to work their socks off to get there. Now, Iceland, their mentality, you got to be scared of their mentality. They fear nobody, all right? They do not fear anybody whatsoever. And they are so confident in their game, you know that Iceland are going to give 100%. So when you're playing Iceland, if you're not careful, it could put a fear in you.
Yeah.
You know, in that you say, no, this team, they may not be technically top 5 or whatever in the world, but you know you're playing a team who are going to fight you 90 minutes with quality.
Yeah.
They have that basic quality which will take them through.
Who are some of the notable names they have in the Iceland team?
Well, Gylfi Sigurdsson, the
Okay.
Premier League continue.
Yeah.
I mean, Six Thorson.
Okay.
You know, yeah. look,
All the sins in there. Yeah, I know. But those are just like mid-league table team players.
yeah, but that's
They're
the,
ragged.
that's the thing
Yeah,
about
Everton-like
the World Cup,
kind of
because
people.
there are 32 teams. Sometimes if you are mid-table or
Player.
mid-league, that's all you need. And some of these players feature in European leagues, mid-table teams in European leagues. So if they play in Nigeria,
Okay. Then they are top players.
you understand?
Yes.
If they play Croatia, all they need is a bit more organization and
That's right.
passion, and then you can sail through. When they meet the obviously gifted and good teams like the Germanys and Brazils,
Spain.
then they may fall short because the individual quality there may be. But for groups like this, sometimes all you need is serious organization and a will to win. And well,
All right, Benedict, Group
Alright,
E.
So Group E has a Roland's team, that's Brazil.
Yay!
with
Einstein.
Switzerland. So Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and then we have Serbia in Group E.
Wow. That's
Is it, Brazil should be able to sail through this?
Brazil has
this
not
is like
been
the
a
first
surprise.
No.
But well, we all thought Neymar would be in there, or he will not be, and
But
all of
he
a sudden
is.
he is, and he's on song.
yeah, sure.
No, they knew he would be there.
Of course they
The time period that
February?
he had, yeah. They
From
knew
February.
he'd be there. And Brazil is not known for their top surgeons or whatever, but they do. They've got the top surgeons. That's why they said to him, get him to Brazil straight away. We'll treat him, and he'll be back, and he'll make it. And nowadays, they've got methods which make players allow players to heal 75%
I was surprised
quicker.
Dembaba could
Oh,
play
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yes,
After
yes,
his
exactly.
broken leg.
Yes.
Got broken, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
Like that.
and that nowadays, the things, injuries that would have put players out, say 20, 30 years back, now, they've got the treatment for it, and players are back much quicker than you'd expect.
Wow.
Because apparently there's a treatment where they put the player naked in a room for about 1 degree centigrade, take the temperature right down, increase the oxygen, and that increases the healing rate by about 75%.
1 degree,
Oh,
like you feel
wow.
cold and
Yeah,
warm
you're,
at the
you're
same
cold.
time,
You're freezing cold, but
and
you're
it's
there-
healing.
Yes.
It's a therapy.
It's a
Yes,
therapy.
Do we do that in KNUS in Ghana?
I
Maybe
don't
the
know.
medical
I
school
don't
there.
think it's reached there yet.
We haven't gotten there. It's a problem, Africa.
Okay, so
So,
who are the other,
Brazil.
the other?
This group is just like the France group. You've got such an obvious favorite, and then everybody else has got to scramble for.
I think this one is easier than the
Yeah, but beyond that, the thing is that Brazil too is one of the teams to beat for the tournament.
Yes, they
that
are.
makes it.
They
You
are.
look beyond what they'll do in the group.
Yeah, they don't have an obvious weakness. I mean, they are very strong, and I think that even though they have the Neymar and the Casemiro and the anybody, my star man for Brazil is actually their coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is
I mean,
that?
it's one team that I can say this coach is a difference maker.
As in, he knows what he wants.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's about. He's got a track record. He knows his players inside out. And more importantly, they seem to trust him implicitly.
They liked him
They
before
liked
he
him
got the
even
job.
before he even got
See,
the
that's
job.
the thing.
So
Yeah.
it's like if he says, Roland, you're good, but I think you should be on the bench. You go like, okay, yes, boss. because you trust that.
So you're saying the players, even though they're big names, are playing for the coach?
Yes, they believe in what he's saying. Like Neymar. Neymar is your obvious big player, but when he was put on the bench in the friendlies, he was totally okay with it. And the coach apparently told him, I'm bringing you on in the second half, and that will be good. Neymar comes on, 1-2 touches, he scores. And everybody, and he says, yes, I'm the coach. You know, I know you, I know what's better. When he was asked at the press conference, Neymar is fine. Why didn't you start him to imbue confidence? He says, I know, but I thought that with his rate of recovery, he would need second half appearances. Yes. And he has even hinted that in some of the games that they will play in the group, he may not play Neymar for 90 minutes. And the player seems completely fine with it. And another thing that before we go on, think about any national team. And this guy says he's not going to give one player the captaincy throughout the World Cup. So in every one of the games, he's going to rotate the captaincy. I mean, who does that?
That's how come one of the friendlies I saw Gabriel Jesus being the captain. I was surprised. I said, oh, this guy is just...
And that's what he wants to do. He just wants to share the responsibility.
So, Coach Digra, how does a coach get to that point?
Get to that point. Majority of coaches fail because they have favorites. As Gary has just said, the players knew him before, all right, and they know him as a nice person, but they know he's strict. But he will work with you. It's about communication. I've done that before. Said to a player, listen, you've been injured, you're coming back, and also the other players have been playing very well since you were away. They've held the fort. So the best way and the respectful way to bring you in is to bring you in the second half, so that people do not feel that you're God. And that you will play at any cost.
You definitely have to start.
Exactly. Once you get that sort of attitude out of players, they all work together. Once you say, oh, this guy must start at all costs, a bit of resentment, players will not come out, because most of them will not come out with their true feelings, but the resentment is there, nevertheless. So that's what you do. You communicate with the players, and fair play. Most players love nothing more than fair play, and the most successful coaches manage to get fair play in their system.
Nice one. There's another African team in the next group, Benedict.
Oh, they are?
Okay, not this very group, but the group G, we'll find out. But in this very group, we have the holders. That's Germany. They are defending champions.
Okay.
And
so this is Group F, not...
Yeah, this is Group F, not Group G. Yeah, so we have Germany, then Mexico, Sweden, as well as Korea Republic. So that's Group G for you.
Right, so Germany, Mexico,
Sweden, Korea Republic.
Another one of those obvious groups. Germany so far and away, and then you've got the others who have to scramble for places, which makes this tournament very, very exciting to watch. Mexico, Sweden, Korea. Maybe it might end in this order at the end, on paper. It could end in this order. Coach, what do you think?
I totally agree with you, but Mexico is so frustrating.
Yeah, they are.
They are the perennial underachievers.
Even though many of the time they have good players who go.
I've never seen a poor Mexican player. I've never seen a poor Mexican team. But they seem to implode at certain times when you think, what's happening?
They are like the Central American African team, aren't they? Like they've got all those peculiar. Like they have this coach right now.
The lack of concentration.
They don't like this coach. He's winning for them all the time, but they just don't like him. So, like, you hear all the commentary in the country, and they are just on the back
so
of
that's just the opposite to the Brazilian coach that we talked about just a while ago.
You know, there's a funny thing, is that there's a mentality in football. I had the problem when I was at Hazakas. We were winning, but bola no bonade.
Is it not the goals? What are we looking out for? Is it the beautiful game, or is
those traditional clubs? They don't. No, it's not about the winning. Real Madrid, they win the Champions League and then they sack you.
Yes,
they win the Champions League and they sack you.
They'll tell you resign.
The way you were winning was not stylish enough for their team.
Oh wow!
Mexico have Gary said they have that difficulty. They're winning, but
they want to play Latin America, South America.
Egypt has the same problem. So this guy has qualified into the World Cup first time since 1990, and they don't like him
because he plays
defensive.
But to a coach, what are you looking out for? Is it the beautiful game that they're playing on the pitch, or your interest is the end results?
My job is to win. I look at the team, all right, and I fashion the team in the most efficient way to win the matches. If it's pretty, fantastic, but that's accidental. But I don't go for pretty.
If it's pretty, that's accidental.
But winning is the #1 priority.
Yeah.
All right. So I win, and then you sack me because you did not like the way I played. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you sack me because I didn't win, then I get upset because my primary responsibility is to win the matches. Full stop. As I say, win pretty is accidental.
Benedict.
All right, so the next group is Group G, and there's an African team in there. That's Tunisia, Belgium, Panama, England. Very, very interesting group, but I take Belgium and England to make out.
Yeah, the English always need to qualify. Otherwise, the Sun, the Times, the Guardian, all will be on the neck of the English team. And Rashford, I'm not sure will have a good place next season playing for Manchester United. Gary.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it looks like Belgium and England, but the thing about this is one of the groups where
I love the Tunisians.
Yes, one of the groups where the order of the games might favor Tunisia of all the African teams.
Why?
If you look at the way the order of the games are, they are first opposition, and then they play England at a time where even if they get a point, there will be less pressure. So you see, sometimes the order of the games will inure in your favor because you might have an easy opponent first, and then another one second, or you might have a difficult one and then 2 easy ones at the end.
So it kind of relaxes you for the tour.
Yes.
So you've gotten a feel, even though you've lost,
that's
and
the
then
point.
you up it.
And then you can suddenly
or you
get
have a good
run of
game,
games.
and so it gives you the confidence.
I'm thinking that if you got an easy one early, you could secure some 3 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends
like
on
the way
how
Ghana has had over the period.
The early
in the World Cup.
Well,
But sometimes, I mean,
the early 3 points, it's a confidence builder.
Yeah.
But as Gary says, couldn't agree with Gary more in that if you're under pressure, 1 point or 0 points from your first game, that creates the pressure. England have got a difficulty in that England have still got 1966 in mind, and England still can't move away from that. But honest truth is, for the first time, the attitude of the England players is similar to the World Cup winning team, in that the World Cup winning team knew they could play.
1966.
1966.
I say.
Yes, they knew they could play. So they just went out there and played football.
Yeah.
These guys have got that feel back, where they're a bunch of young guys who are scared of nobody. And they just go out there and they play their
But if you look at the feeling in the country, I'm not sure it's the same. People are not expecting them. Are people expecting them to do exceptionally well?
Like
at the World
Mexico,
Cup?
they're the perennial underachievers.
They
I mean,
choose
look how many,
themselves in the
yes,
foot.
and look how many World Cups they missed. 74, they missed 78, they missed 90. They missed so many World Cups because they just did not have the quality to even qualify.
But Benedict, you're wearing an English jersey. So I'm thinking that if we have to do analysis, you see that since the reforms in England, they've churned out good players at the youth level. And that's sort of giving the administrators and the players of England some kind of a feel, just like we'll have in the top African teams. So they're doing at the youth level, and that's transitioned into not top names in the national team. The expectation is not too big, but that's where they perform, is that not it?
And actually, what gives them confidence in this very competition is the fact that under 17 they won it, under 20 they won it. So they won the FIFA under 17 World Cup and won the FIFA under 20 World Cup, and now they are going in for this very one. And you look at the players picked for this very competition. These are players that across England or in the English Premier League all were on top form for their respective clubs. 5 players in the Tottenham Hotspur team, and you looked at Tottenham's performance in last season's English Premier League, top notch. And then you have players like Jordan Henderson, who led Liverpool to the UEFA Champions League final. Manchester United have also got in some of their players, Marcus Rashford, as well as, what's his name? I always forget this guy's name.
We watch English Premiership,
what Manchester United? Lingard. Lingard also played very well for the side. Raheem Sterling, look at his performance for Manchester City. Right. You know, so they have assembled good players that played very well for their respective clubs, and that's what you normally need when you're going in for a competition of this nature. You need all your players to pick top form, and that's what they are going. Gareth Southgate is able to put together these players well, unlike what we saw in the Euros where Roy Hodgson had the best players, quality players in the team, but couldn't do anything. If he's able to do that, I think that this English team would
But
do
you are
well.
British, so tell us something before Gary comes in.
England are learning something from the French. I was always busting the gut telling them the racism in England will prevent England from getting anywhere in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Look at their under-17s and the under-20s. It's 80% black boys.
No, you mean migrant, generational migrants.
But they're still black.
They went through the ship,
What it is?
Mediterranean.
No, it's always exactly. It's all.
They have Ghanaians in there. They have everybody else.
Well, what it is that even before this generational thing, it was always, if you go to the secondary schools, the best players in there were the black boys. But through the English system, they were excluded via racism. When I went to France, one of the French under-17s coach said to me, Joseph, do you know when French football went up? I said, when? He said, when we sat down and decided to kick racism out. Now, the question is, is the English society advanced enough to allow the percentage of black players in the under-17s and under-20s to transition into the full team? If they do, England will win the World Cup again. If they don't,
but we've seen a significant number of them being included in this particular World Cup.
They won't admit it, but that's why there's some hope as well. Because on the benches, you've got Rashford, you know, and Lingard, who is mixed race. You've got Welbeck, you know, as well. So, and then plus, I think that the selection this time has been really, really on merit. That's what excites me about this English team. So you don't get a lot of people saying that, oh, England, this team is all hype, unlike in other tournaments. Because if you take them position by position, you look at the goalkeepers that were chosen. It wasn't because we were playing for Manchester United or Man City or something. They are playing for some of the lower teams, but they are there on merit.
It's Pickford.
Is it there? Even their number one goalkeeper. His number one goalkeeper was with Stoke City, and Stoke City were relegated.
You know, so that kind of mentality gives you an idea that the coach knows what he's doing. And I think that one of the star people, just like Brazil, is the coach of England as well. Yes. Gareth Southgate. Hard-nosed man. There's so much politics in the English system. People talk about Africa, but the English system is unbelievably political, with brand interest, with regional interest, but more importantly, not even race, but the club interest. Club power plays such a significant role.
So it has to be Man United
or some other
Chelsea,
team or some traditional Aston Villa or
that
something.
Kind of thing. Everton.
He seems to have broken that.
Not Stoke City.
You know, he seems to have just broken that, and he's doing what he's doing. And so far, he's hitting all the right notes. Like, he excluded Joe Hart. He called the guy and told him, I'm dropping you.
Massa.
You are Joe Hart.
Relax.
Massa, relax, I'm dropping you. You know, you are not going. Jack Wilshere. A lot of coaches would have buckled, and because of the season is out. But he said, Jack, you've had a good season, but if I look at what I'm going to do at the World Cup and the system I want to play, you won't fit, even though you've had a good World Cup.
A good league season.
Yeah,
not many
good league season.
Not many coaches had the balls
to do that.
And I totally agree with you, Gary. That's what he's doing. He's got the strength and the conviction and the confidence to do things.
So you're saying he's picked a lot of black balls.
Now let's activate the phone lines and get everybody else to be involved in this conversation. Benedict, how many groups do we have left?
We have the last group.
Okay, before you do that, we have Samuel on the line. Samuel is calling from Agogo, and we'll come to some of the messages that you've been sending via WhatsApp as well. Samuel, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mama B. How are you and the crew?
Oh, we're very well.
We're great.
Yeah, I love your panel this morning. They are great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Samuel, which team are you repping?
I am going for Spain.
Oh, they just sacked their coach.
Yes. He's been sacked for our sake.
Okay, so quickly, what are your expectations for this year's World Cup? Hello?
Oh, The Spanish Ghanaian has gone off.
Hello, Samuel. We apologize. I think we lost you there. You can also give
Samuel,
us a
if you
quick
can call, please try. If we don't have too many
give
people
us a call, 030221169102, 030221169102. Let's quickly read some messages. This one says, Germany's the team. Spain can't beat Portugal. Germany waiting for Brazil. Morocco the best. Is from Sek in Garu. That's where you are sending this message from. Ernest says, I think Belgium will win this year's World Cup. Yay. With the kind of stars they have at their disposal. Here's another one that says, USA, Mexico, and Canada are hosting 2026 World Cup. Does it mean all the three countries will be automatically qualified? Emmanuel from the Volt region. Yeah?
Yeah?
Oh, that's an easy way to qualify.
Well, that's why
just team up and host.
But the upside is that there are 48 teams in that World Cup. It will be expanded. So, 45 teams will have to play qualifiers, but 3 will have automatic qualification.
Okay. Do we have someone on the back on the line?
Okay.
So let me know when somebody's on the line so we can talk to them. This one says, good morning to you, the entire sports crew. These countries should be carefully noted. France, Brazil, Tunisia, Portugal, England, Spain, especially France and Brazil. One will surely get to the finals. Please mark my words. Ayo, it's Abdul Basit Ibrahim. Oh. We're marking your words.
Yeah, and we're not sports crew. We're just the AM show team. but
the experts are here with us.
Yeah, so we have Coach Graft and Gary as always.
And Benedict. Benedict, let's go through the last group.
The last group where we have Senegal, and this likely looks very soft for Senegal. To go through. They can take a cue from the game Ghana played against Japan. And then there is Colombia as well as Poland. Poland with Lewandowski, but I think that Senegal can make this group because they have a greater chance of making any of the groups that has African representatives.
All right, let's speak to Michael, then we'll come to the analysis. Michael is in Kumasi. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Maladi.
Yes, Michael, thanks for joining us. Let's hear you.
I mean, your crew is fantastic. I really love this show.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're supporting England, I guess, the way you spoke.
No. I'm supporting Argentina, of course.
Okay.
You're a Barca fan.
Okay, yeah. So what are your expectations of the World Cup?
Oh, my expectation is really, I want Argentina to lift this trophy. And I will be very sad when Brazil win the trophy.
Oh, you'll be sad in
that's
Brazil.
So unfortunate. I'm wearing their jersey today.
It doesn't matter. That's the main reason why I don't want Brazil to lose the trophy.
Oh!
You hate me that much.
Okay, Michael. Thank you very much.
That's a good one.
Okay, guys, let's look at this last group that Benedict has presented to us.
Benedict says that Senegal will find it soft.
No, I said they have a greater chance.
A greater chance, right?
Yeah, I think so too. But we'll talk about the African prediction, what they can do. Mamavi.
Yeah, but let's look at Poland, Senegal, Colombia, Japan, as presented by Benedict. Yeah. Coach De Graaf, what should we expect from this group?
I totally agree. This is almost well balanced.
It's an open group.
Very well balanced. But I still think Colombia and Senegal.
Colombiana.
Yeah.
Because Colombians always, again, the Colombians for me are like Uruguay. But apparently their problem was the betting syndicates in Colombia. They'll qualify with some fantastic games. They get to the World Cup. And I wouldn't watch Colombia. There's only the last 2 World Cups that I decided, I'll watch Colombia. Previously, I wouldn't watch them because I knew their performances were going to be absolutely awful. And it was because of the betting syndicates. But if Colombia turn up and they want to play football, they are a quality outfit, as is Senegal. So I will be looking for Colombia and Senegal to top that group.
Gary?
Yes, Senegal, I mean, my focus is on them. I mean, I'm looking at them to find their way. And there they are, that's their star man there, Sadio Mane of Liverpool, with his very distinctive thingy at the back of his head. And that's the coach who just flashed by. He'll come back again. So while Nigeria were parading the best kids, they went for the more traditional. That's their coach, Aliou Cisse, dreadlock. He used to be a player of the team as well and a captain of the side. So yeah, he's kind of like the Senegalese Kwesi Appiah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's speak to Seth. Seth is joining us from Takrady. Seth, good morning. Thanks for calling. Hello, Seth.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Seth. You're on air. Let's hear you.
Please, my name is Brian, not Fit.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
right.
All right.
Go ahead.
Apologies. Please go ahead.
I'm sitting for Argentina to win the tournament because of Messi. The Messi
I know.
But I'm thinking that Brazil too will qualify for the final, so it will be a Brazil-Argentina final.
Brazil,
Okay, all right.
Brazil will qualify.
Thank you very much for joining us.
That's
so
a good one.
Bright in Sunya. Do we still have Seth on the line though?
Oh, Seth has given up.
Okay, Seth, we lost you. Give us a quick call, 0302 211
We'll go to
69102.
Brazil. I know.
So, Benedict, let's talk about the African teams in this. That's what we started off. But from looking at them from the various groups, how many of them will make it out of the main groups?
That's a very difficult one because one, it's got to do with the performance of the teams and also the groups they find themselves. Oftentimes they've been made to understand by virtue of performances we've seen from some of the African teams in previous tournaments that, well, it's not all about your performance, it's not all about your rankings. If I remember very well, Ghana went into the first World Cup, that was in 2006, ranked behind all the teams. But what did we see? We did very well and we progressed to the next stage of the competition. So on that basis, you look at the group Egypt find themselves, you will say that it's a very tough group and that Egypt cannot make it, but they can't do that. But the team that I tip is Senegal because their group looks very balanced and that if you push and you're able to get a good result in your first game, Senegal can make the next stage. But with Nigeria will be very difficult.
Oh, okay. Let's speak to Hamidou. Hamidou is in Obuasi, and then we'll come to you, Razak. You'll be our last call. Hamidou, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. You're on air. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I love your program. You guys are too much.
Thank
you.
I'm looking at Belgium to go and then take the cup.
So why Belgium?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
I see the connection.
Yes. Barca,
okay.
Argentina,
Hamidou, we hear you.
Brazil.
Thank you. Let's speak to Razak now. Razak is in Tamale. Hello, Razak.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. So which country
Razak.
are you repping?
Yeah, this is Razak from Tamale.
Okay, Razak, which country are you?
Good morning to you and good morning to you.
Razak, okay, I see the problem we're having. Please turn down the volume on your television set so you don't get any feedback. You can hear us through the phone so we can speak one language. I'll come back to you when you do that. Have you done that, please?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. So,
yeah. Good morning to you and good morning to your panelists in there.
Good morning.
I think it's been a great show this morning, and for me, when looking at the African teams, I think Egypt to go to at least the quarterfinals, and if possible, maybe made it to the semifinals. But winning the cup, I don't think any African.
If the shoulder is well in place,
I hope that Argentina and Brazil will go to the final.
To the final.
Messi will pick the cup this year. They have to win the Ballon d'Or this year, and if he has to do that, then he has to pick
the Barca fans.
Okay.
So we just wish that we'll go to the final.
Okay. All right. Okay, Razak, thank you very much, and thank you to all those who have called.
And Razak will be our last caller.
I have a suspicion that Brazil and Argentina cannot meet in the final.
They may meet somewhere in the semi-final.
Yeah, or something like that. I have a suspicion that they can because of the way the groups are. Yeah, I doubt both teams.
The route too.
The route, yeah.
Okay.
At a point, they may have to meet before.
Because none of them could finish second. All of them may finish first.
That's the point. I mean,
they may engineer it. If you're Brazil, for instance, and you know that you're going to meet Argentina if you win.
That's the point.
Engineer it and come second place.
So
that's part of the
because Germany do that.
Yes.
Like in our last game in the World Cup, people think, oh, yeah, Ghana drew. Germany wanted to draw that thing.
Yeah.
They did not want to.
So the tempo, you see that it was.
Yes. Because
so it's strategy as well.
It's a tournament.
It's a tournament.
They're not just going out there and playing.
It's like a chess game.
It is a chess game.
It is a chess game.
So teams go out sometimes to draw a game.
Yes.
Because they know that if they win, they are probably going to meet Argentina. If they draw, they
I think one of the World Cups we've done it before. Yeah.
Ghana. I won't be surprised.
We are full of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run through some of the messages. And I think one of the questions I want to put out to you, Gary and Coach DeGraft, is Egypt. Is it all about Salah? I mean, we saw Liverpool in the Champions League finals.
The honest truth for me with Egypt is, The best record I've had of them is the African Cup of Nations, a major tournament. And if you take, I hope I'm wrong again, but if you take Salah from the team, for me, there isn't much to write home about. They have to change that. If they can change that, leaving Salah out and getting a much more balanced team without Salah, that will greatly increase their chances of going up and moving into the next round. So for me, it's very important, because see what happened to Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game to rely totally on one player. Get your team and let the one player, that top player, become the icing on your cake, not part of your cake.
Yeah. Gary?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I believe that as well. I don't believe that it's just Salah and the rest, because, you know, and that will be the undoing of some of the sides. Yes, admittedly, like I said, Egyptians do not like this coach too much, because Egypt like to play expressive football. They like to, they are like Ghana, you know, like they see themselves. Yeah, they want to be attacking.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be attacking. They want to be. This guy is a bit reticent in the way he plays, and he's taking those kinds of players.
Like a Djokovic kind of
approach. What's his name? The guy who took Milo.
Milo, right back.
Like
and then the previous one also.
Djokovic. So, but you see, it is defense that, when they have a football saying, attackers win games. That strikers will win you the game because they'll score the goals. But it is the defenders who win you the trophy. If you look at yesterday, I was reading and checking the stats of all the teams that have won the World Cup since 1970. None has conceded more than 5 goals in the tournament.
Oh.
So your team has to be built from the back. If your team is not defensively good, you will go out. You know, so that is your first order of business, and that's why I think that maybe Egypt is not all about Salah after all. And if you look at the starting lineups and the way they play, I mean, this is not a very technical show, so I don't want to go into detail.
Yeah.
But Salah basically is a left-footed player. They put him on the right. There's another guy who is a right-footed player. They put him on the left. So Salah will actually not start as the main striker. He'll play on the wings. That's how he's played in Egypt. And then there's a main striker so they'll be like very fluid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Coach, you wanted to quickly say something. Gary, I'll come to the final thing I'll put to you, and then we have to wrap
Brazil
up. Is what should people expect
that
from
trend?
Yeah.
They said our defense is no good. Our defense is no good. Our goalkeeper is not the best. So you score 2, we score 3. Yeah. You score 4, we score
Liverpool.
5. That's their attitude.
And they won a World Cup.
Yeah, they won the World Cup.
Stylishly.
The other thing I want to say is, wouldn't the nations encourage the Moroccans to go for this World Cup bid? Did they not listen to Sepp Blatter? Sepp Blatter said, if they had awarded the 2022 World Cup to USA, they wouldn't have removed him from his job. So the Moroccans should have known, once USA, this is sensible for me, once USA were in the bid,
you had no business.
Forget it.
Wasting money.
Don't waste money, don't waste your time. Just say to them, listen, USA, what is this, Mexico, Canada, you take it, we'll go for the next one. Suggest that to FIFA. Don't compete with them, you're not going to win. The Americans had to get this.
Gary, from our team,
I wanted that
from our team, what should viewers expect from our sports team?
Well, yeah, I mean, Benedict is going to be doing a lot of television for us as well. He'll be on the radio commentary as well, because Joy FM has the official broadcast right for Ghana for English.
Wow.
Yes.
Only. You are the only English.
We are the only. So anybody who wants commentary rights will have to come to the multimedia group. So if you want Akan commentary, you can go over to Asempa, Adom, and if in Kumasi, Inshira FM, in Takrady, so on. So that's
our commentary on radio is also live on Love?
Yes, on Love as well. So Inshira Love. So they're doing the tree and the English there. And then on television, we have a lot of shows that will be like update shows on the AM. We'll be here a lot of the time. We'll be on the Pulse. We'll be on Prime. We'll be having our own football shows that we'll be having. Baba Tando is having her own show for the World Cup called Soccer Rocks.
Soccer Rocks.
Yeah, that'll be
that's on Joy Prime already.
Entertainment and then the
Soccer Rocks.
Soccer Rocks, the fun time, the fun part. And then online, we are going very, very hard online. If you can show us the website, our website. You know, we have created a special website for the World Cup only.
And it has a link on the main My Joy Online page?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
It does. So it's myjoyonline.com/ World Cup. And on that site, yeah, there we go. So already, every day you go, before you wake up, I mean, assuming you wake up at 6 o'clock or 5, like today's game is Saudi Arabia versus, we have the full dossier.
Everything is there.
Everything.
Including Nyantechi. I've seen Nyantechi.
So that's Saudi Arabia, the World Cup fixtures, their squad, how they qualified, their friendly, their top stars. Everything we couldn't do here, we've done in detail.
Okay.
And if you click on the story, the Joy Sports commentary preview, if you can click that, yes, for us.
Wow.
That gives, yeah, so this is it.
Wow.
Okay.
Every game.
Wow.
So it's George Addo who will be on the commentary.
And you'll be.
And on the summaries with me. So for every game, we have artwork like this all over the internet, on Facebook, on Twitter.
Okay.
And
all
so
right,
on
guys.
and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
We've
there
enjoyed
will
the
be
conversation.
more, but thank you so much, Coach DeGraff, for being here. We would love for you to visit that again. More often. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Benedict. Benedict is our man.
Yeah,
He's part of
Benedict.
the AM show.